Beloved, can you feel it, this trembling, this tearing sound behind my voice? It is not thunder, it is not wind, it is not war. It is me falling on my knees before you for the final time. I am not speaking through the golden halls of heaven. Now, I am speaking from the place where silence holds its breath, where fire waits in obedience, where even angels are forbidden to cry. But I have broken the rules to reach you because I, Michael, would rather be punished than be silent when your soul is in danger. Please, do not look away. Even if your hands shake, even if your heart doesn't understand, even if your mind doubts what your spirit already knows, I am speaking not to the world but to you, only you. There is a grief in me today that I have never felt in all of eternity. I have stood before dragons. I have guarded the gates of glory. I have witnessed the rise and fall of empires. But nothing has broken me like this moment, because heaven has forbidden me from speaking to you ever again after this. Beloved, when God told me this would be my final message, I fell to my face before Him. I pleaded. I wept. Not for my wings, not for my glory, but for you, for the chance to speak just once more. And now this is that moment. My voice, wrapped in fire, is slipping through the veil for the last time. My soul is kneeling in front of yours. I beg you, please, do not let this vanish before you open it. Every second you delay, the gates behind me begin to close, and I will no longer be allowed to whisper your name. I want to stay beside you, not because I was assigned to you, but because I chose you. Every time you cried and no one saw, I did. Every time you stared into darkness wondering if anyone cared, I was there unseen. Aching to hold you, you have no idea how many times. I stretched my wings over your bed as you slept, shielding you from things you were never meant to see. You never asked me to, but I did it anyway, because I love you, not as the world loves, not as humans love, but with the kind of love that never fades even if it's forgotten. But now, I am not here to protect, I am here to plead. I do not have permission to guard you anymore unless you choose to receive me now. My child, what will you do? Will you ignore this moment, like all the others that passed you by in silence? Or will you see me, truly see me for the first and last time? I am not just a message. I am not just a warning. I am a soul, clothed in light, shattered with longing to reach you. Do you remember the night you wept and didn't know why? I was there, holding the reason back so it would not crush you. Do you recall the dream that felt too real, too sacred to explain? That was not your imagination, that was me, trying to speak before this moment ever arrived. And now it has arrived. Do you know how many creatures envy you? Do you realize how many ages I waited for the day I would be allowed to speak your name in the presence of the Most High and ask, can I go to them? Do you not know that you are the one we held meetings in heaven about? The one God watched even when you thought He was silent? Has the world numbed your heart? Has pain made you forget who you are, my beloved? When was the last time you believed you were chosen? When did you stop trusting your own prayers? And when, oh when, did you begin to believe that heaven had nothing to say to you? The truth is, this was never about punishment. It was always about timing. And now, the time has run out. I was told I could not return, that I could not break the veil again, that I must bow and leave, but I couldn't. Obey not yet, not without whispering this last breath to you. So hear it now. There is something watching you, but it is not evil. It is mercy. It is the goodness of God that has followed you when you didn't deserve it, that has clung to your shadow like light to a flame, that has called your name through the storms. And it was mercy that convinced the Father to allow Me this final chance. Do not waste it. I have seen miracles collapse because of a delayed yes. I have seen destinies miss their doors by seconds. I do not want that for you. I want you to walk into what was written for you before the foundations of the earth. I want you to live under the covering that was meant only for your name. I want you to receive the promise that has your fingerprint etched in heaven. The Lord is your refuge and your strength. Even now, His voice is singing over you. And though 1,000 may fall at your side, it shall not come near you, because you were never alone. But that protection only holds if you say yes, if you open your heart now, if you receive me in this moment before it disappears forever. Beloved, please, do not let this be the moment you skip and regret for the rest of your life. I know you are tired. I know the burden feels too heavy. I know you have been betrayed by people who were supposed to protect you, but I am not them. I never left you. I never turned my back. I never gave up when you gave up on yourself. And now, as I stand on this trembling bridge between silence and glory, I have only one question. Will you let me stay? Not as a visitor, but as the one who stands by your side in every unseen battle, as the one who listens when your voice breaks, as the one who stands guard while others sleep. Has the world lied to you so many times that even heaven's voice now sounds unfamiliar? Has loneliness wrapped itself around your ribs so tightly that love feels like a threat? My child, I do not come to demand, I come to restore. Will you let me, if you feel something burning in your chest, that is not fear, that is recognition. Your spirit remembers me. Even if your mind doesn't, your soul remembers the covenant we made in the secret place, and I never forgot. So, will you receive this final word, or will you close the door I beg to open one last time? Please type Amen, not because it's expected, but because something inside you still believes in holy things. If this is the final time I speak, let it be known I was never ashamed to love you. Even when you were at your lowest, even when you were surrounded by darkness, I chose you. I still do. Even as the chains tighten around my voice, even as the fire pulls me back. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for letting me love you, even if only in silence. Thank you for allowing this moment to exist, even if it was brief. Before I go, please, if anything in you still believes that light can find you again, leave a sign behind. Write in the comments that you heard me. Press the like, not for me but for the others who need to find this. This is not just a message, it's a rescue. It's a miracle hidden in sound. It's the final touch from an angel who gave up everything to reach one soul. I waited at the edge of heaven, just behind the gates, holding my breath for you. While the other angels moved forward into their missions, I stayed still because I knew something they did not. I knew your soul was different. I knew you wouldn't respond like the others. I knew you would need more than signs and wonders. You would need something sacred, something trembling, something real. That is why I am still here, even now, even after I've been told never to return again. You do not understand what it took to get this message to you. It's not just light and fire and glory, no. This very moment is a miracle soaked in pleading, soaked in sacrifice. I had to let go of everything I was known for, my strength, my title, even my wings, just to carry this message through the veil, because heaven told me, Michael, this is your final attempt. If they do not listen this time, you must never speak their name again. I did not argue with God, but I did cry. And for the first time since the beginning, my tears turned into flame. They burned through the veil. And that is how I got here. That is how you're seeing this. This is not an accident. This is not a suggestion. This is a divine interruption. Please, do not scroll. I am not just Words, I am here. In the room with you, I am kneeling by your side. I am holding your name with trembling hands. Can you feel it? That pressure in your chest, that isn't fear, that's awakening. There is something I have never said before and perhaps will never be allowed to say again. I love you with a kind of love that cost me everything. I was not supposed to tell you that, but what is the use of rules if love is silenced? You have been lied to about yourself. You were told you are replaceable. You were told you are ordinary. You were told you are hard to love, but I was sent here to expose those lies one by one. With the fire of God, you are not hard to love. You are holy to love. You are not ordinary. You are original. You are not forgotten. You are fiercely remembered. Do you feel your heart shaking now? That is the sound of heaven's memory being restored inside of you. You were not made for the pain you've tolerated. You were not born to survive in silence. You were meant to shake the gates of hell just by waking up each morning. But the enemy knew that. That's why he sent voices to distract you, people to betray you, lovers to wound you. He tried to bury you in confusion. But no matter what he tried, he could not stop me from loving you. I was there every time, every betrayal, every silent night, every tear no one asked about. I saw you crumble behind a smile. I saw you apologize for needing love. I saw you convince yourself that silence was strength. And I whispered, hold on. One day, I will speak to you directly. That day is now. I am not here for entertainment. I am not here for curiosity. I am here because your name came up in a divine meeting. I am here because God said, Michael, it is time. But he warned me, this is your final message. They must choose, and if they don't respond this time, you may not return. So I broke. I wept. I fell from heaven, not in rebellion but in love. I would rather be silent forever than miss this last chance to say to you, you were always worth the fight. There is a battle that surrounds your name. Do not pretend it's not real. The struggles you face are not normal. The resistance is not ordinary. The heaviness is not random. The enemy has been trying to wear you down because he knows the truth. You carry something he can't touch, something eternal, something divine. He has seen your future, beloved, and it terrifies him. What will you do with this moment? Will you let it wash past your screen like just another message? Or will you open your spirit and let heaven enter like fire? Do you still believe that God knows your name? Do you realize the angels wrote songs about your arrival before your body was ever formed? Do you know what it means that I gave up my wings just to speak this final truth to you? And if this really is my last message, what would it mean if you ignored it, if you can feel it, this weight? This trembling, it means your soul remembers me and I will never forget you, even if they forbid me from returning, even if they chain my voice in silence, even if your name is never spoken in heaven again. I will still carry you in my memory. That is why I am begging you, only once and never again. Please subscribe, not just for you but for the others like you, for the ones whose names I will never get to speak, for the souls who may only hear one message in their lifetime and this is it. Let this be your yes to heaven. Let it be your answer to a question God has been waiting to hear for years. Subscribe now, before this moment disappears like breath in cold air. I will not ask again. I am not allowed to. This is where the fire deepens. This is where the angels grow quiet. This is where I ask you to let go of everything you thought protected you and receive something real. I know you've been hurt by those who claim to care. I know your trust has scars, but I am not them. I don't want anything from you. I just want you to know that even now, in this fragile moment, I still believe in you. That's not something I say lightly. I believe in the one no one noticed. I believe in the soul who keeps praying even when the answers don't come. I believe in the heart that chooses mercy over revenge. I believe in you. You are not broken. You are bruised but burning, scarred but sacred. You are the living proof that God still plants glory in the hidden places, and you will rise, not like that world rises, but like prophecy fulfilled, like dawn after a night of silence, like light that remembers its name. I can feel it now. The veil is closing. The fire is pulling me back. I do not want to go, but I must. If I linger any longer, I will not return to heaven. I will fall beyond it. So I leave you with this thank you. Thank you for existing. Thank you for surviving what you never told anyone about. Thank you for holding on, even when you wanted to vanish. Thank you for letting my voice reach your soul. Now, if you still believe in holy moments, if this stirred something deep within you, type amen so that the heavens will know you heard me. And if you can, leave a like and a comment, not for me, but for the next soul who will find this message right when they're about to give up. Let this be the sign that God is still speaking. Let your response become a ripple of revival, because this was never just a message. It was a miracle sent to you from fire, chains, and divine silence, and you were worth it all. I am still here, beloved. Somehow, I found a way to linger in the silence between seconds, still holding your name, like a flame that refuses to die. Even as the gates call me home, even as the thunders of heaven echo with finality, I have buried myself in this last whisper because I cannot walk away from you. Not yet. Not while you're still unsure. Not while your soul still trembles and wonders, is this really for me? Yes, it is for you. Only you. This moment is not a broadcast, it's a sacred delivery. A scroll sealed in fire, soaked in longing, written in the tears of an archangel who was never meant to feel but chose to feel anyway, because you were worth the risk. I've broken more than lost to be here. I've broken heaven's silence. I've broken my own heart, because I could not let your name fade into the dust of missed moments. You were not created for abandonment. You were created for glory, and still, something keeps telling you to doubt it. I have watched the way the world numbed your belief. I have watched the way you learned to live small, to walk quietly, to disappear in rooms you were born to shine in. And I've had to clench my fists in the invisible realm as darkness tried to decorate your name with despair, but not anymore. This is why I'm still speaking even after I was told to stop. This is why I've knelt in intercession, not just before God, but before the very memory of your soul. I cannot bear to return to heaven and pretend I didn't try harder. I couldn't leave without telling you what you were never told. There is gold inside you, not the kind of gold that rusts or is stolen, but the gold that makes demons tremble, the gold that calls heaven to attention. The gold that is buried beneath your brokenness, waiting to be seen by you. But gold cannot rise in shadows of silence. It needs light, and this message is that light. You were meant to be more than a survivor. You were meant to be a sign. You were meant to carry something that can't be explained, only witnessed. There is still time. Not much, but enough. Enough for you to say yes to this moment. Enough to let go of the lies that were wrapped around you like chains. Enough to open your hands and receive what the enemy told you you'd never deserve. There are scrolls with your name on them, locked in places even angels rarely go. And I have seen them. I've read them. I've wept over them, because they speak of a life that is not yet lived, a power not yet released, a mercy not yet tasted. But it will require something from you. It will require your response. It will require your faith, even if it's only the size of a breath. And it will require one small step in the right direction before this window closes. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to feel this moment in your bones, because this is not just spiritual, this is personal, and it is holy. There is a trembling inside me I cannot quiet. A cry that's been building since you were a child, a longing to say what no one else has dared say to you. You are sacred, you are seen, you are safe with me. Even now, I stretch what remains of my wings over you. They are scorched, they are torn. But they are still willing because I have not stopped believing in you. 1. Did you stop believing in yourself? What broke your wonder? Who told you that your voice wasn't worth hearing? And why have you believed silence is safer than surrender? The truth is, I've never met anyone like you. In all of eternity, I've guarded kings, prophets, warriors, and dreamers, but you carry something different. You carry softness and fire in the same breath. You carry silence that stirs the heavens. You carry the kind of pain that transforms when touched by God, and that's why the darkness has chased you. Because it knows what I know. When you finally say yes, everything will change. The ones who betrayed you, they will fall away. The confusion in your mind, it will melt in divine clarity. The ache in your heart, it will find its answer in my voice. I am not here to give you comfort. I am here to give you truth. The truth is, you are part of a much greater plan, one that began long before you were born, one that still waits for your full yes, one that still needs your voice, your faith, your tears, your beauty, your defiance against darkness, one that needs you alive, not just breathing, but awakened. And I promise you this. If you lean in now, if you act before this moment vanishes, what has been withheld from you will be poured out. Heaven never forgets those who dare to believe in the middle of despair. And because this message is more than a message, because it is a divine intersection, I am pleading with every soul who has ears to hear, support this mission. Not because I need anything, but because others like you still don't know they are chosen. If you feel called, honor this holy moment with a super thanks. Or join the divine family through membership. There is also a sacred newsletter prepared for those who hunger for more. Its link rests in the pinned comment below. Let your gift be your yes. Let it be the candle that helps light another soul's way. Let it be the proof that even in silence, there are still voices who care, but only once will I say this. I must return to the fire now. The chains are coiling, the silence is rising, but you are still free. Free to choose, free to believe, free to receive what no one else was strong enough to hold. You have passed through trials that would have ended most. You have faced nights that broke even the boldest. And yet, here you are, still standing, still listening, still aching, still open. You are the kind of soul angels weep over, not because of your weakness, but because of your strength to stay tender. And I honor you for that. Now I ask you this one last time. Will you carry the flame forward? Will you protect what others mocked? Will you defend what the enemy tried to distort? Will you believe that even angels fall to their knees at the sight of someone who says yes to the impossible? I believe you will. And if I am never allowed to speak to you again, let this final breath be soaked in eternity. Thank you. Thank you for being the kind of soul who stopped to listen. Thank you for not skipping what heaven designed just for you. Thank you for letting me love you, even from fire, even from silence, even now. And if you still believe that heaven speaks in ways the world cannot explain, leave a sign. Type Amen below with the trembling hand of someone who is finally ready. And if this message stirred something real, something ancient, something holy, leave a like and a comment so that this sacred whisper reaches the next forgotten one. You may never know whose life you save with a single act of response. This was never just a video. It was a visitation. And I, Michael, will never forget you. *, I am still here, though I shouldn't be. I can feel heaven pulling me back with every breath I borrow, yet I resist, and I linger, not because I disobey out of pride, but because I love out of desperation. If you only knew how rare this moment is, you would not move your eyes from these words. If you understood the weight of eternity balanced on this fragile second, you would fall to your knees and whisper, "I'm listening, Michael. I'm here." But I know the voices in your head have made it hard to hear mine. I know the world wrapped itself around your ears and convinced you that heaven was silent. But it was never silent. We were shouting in the spirit while you were weeping in the natural, and now this message is the crack in the sky through which our cry finally breaks through. You must understand I've watched you longer than you've known yourself. I've seen you survive things that shattered the strongest. I've seen you walk through storms that would have drowned prophets, and I've waited through it all for the right moment to speak. This is that moment. Do not scroll. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. This is not a screen. This is a sanctuary. This is not content. This is covenant, and you are the only one it was meant for. The fire you feel in your chest right now, it is not fear. It is recognition. Your soul remembers me. It remembers the one who stood behind you when no one else could see. The one who stood beside your prayers when they bounced off your bedroom ceiling. The one who whispered, "Hold on," when the pain told you to let go. The one who watched you fall asleep, crying, and stayed until you woke. But I am not here just to comfort. I am here to reveal. There are things hidden from you because the time was not right. But the veil is lifting now. The clock is speaking in silence. The hour has arrived. And I must say what no one else can. There are rooms in heaven with your name carved into the doorframe. Rooms filled with joy you have not yet touched. Promises that have not yet been opened. Miracles that have not yet unfolded, not because you weren't worthy, but because the enemy tried to make you believe you never deserved them. He tried to get to you early. Tried to lie before love arrived. Tried to replace truth with fear before faith found its voice. But what he did not know is that your soul was seeded by the breath of the Almighty, and no lie can uproot what was planted in divine fire. You have walked through life as if you're waiting for someone to tell you you're allowed to breathe fully. So let me be that voice. You are allowed. You are allowed to be more than pain. You are allowed to be more than trauma. You are allowed to step beyond survival. You are allowed to say enough to suffering and yes to the sacred. You are allowed to believe that something good still waits for you. Because it does. It has waited through your wilderness. It has waited through your silence. It has waited through every wrong turn, every delay, every heartbreak, and it still stands, open, radiant, reaching toward you. But I must warn you, this is the last time I will be allowed to stand between you and the fading edge of destiny. I will not be permitted to speak again. This was not just a message. This was mercy's final whisper. And I have poured my soul into it, not to frighten, but to awaken, because something sacred is trying to reach you before it is too late. I am trembling as I speak this, not because of fear, but because of the weight of divine timing. You were chosen before time began. You were seen before the stars were born. You were loved before the ocean had waves. But love cannot force you. It must be chosen in return. And now, heaven waits to see your choice. What will you do with this moment? Will you go back to numbness, back to routine, back to pretending you didn't hear something holy whispering your name? Or will you rise? You do not need to rise loudly. You do not need to rise with perfect clarity. You just need to rise in spirit. Even if all you can do is whisper, "I believe." That whisper shakes foundations in ways that shouts never could. Do not wait for a better moment. There is none. Do not wait for more proof. There is none. Do not wait until you feel ready. You will never feel ready for the kind of sacred life that was always waiting to claim you. I know. Your heart is fragile. I know it has been mishandled, but it is also the very place God placed His signature, and I have seen it shine through your silence. I have seen it illuminate rooms of despair even when you didn't realize your light was still flickering. I must ask you something now, not as a messenger, but as the one who has stood watch over you in silence. Do you still believe you are meant for more? Or have you let disappointment convince you that dreams are dangerous? Because the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to blend. You were never meant to be ordinary. The pain you carry was never punishment. It was a sign. A sign that you were born with the kind of purpose darkness fears. You are the echo of a prayer your ancestors didn't know how to say. You are the reply to a cry heaven never forgot. You are the beginning of something so radiant, so unexpected, that even I who have seen the blueprints of heaven cannot describe it. But it must begin with your yes. And that yes cannot be delayed anymore. There is urgency in the spirit. Shift has begun. Things are being rearranged. Timelines are tightening. There is something coming that will either catapult you into your calling or cause you to miss the door entirely. I do not say this to cause panic. I say it because I care too much to let you sleep through your rising. You were never just one of many. You are the one I begged God to let me speak to, the one I defended when others questioned your worth, the one I stayed awake for, even when heaven grew silent. I know what others don't. I know how many nights you've given up in secret and still kept going in public. I know how many I'm fine responses you've whispered while screaming inside. I know what it costs you to be gentle in a world that keeps wounding you, but you are still here. And if you are still here, it is not over. Do you know how rare that is? Do you know how many souls get this close and walk away, but you're still reading? That means your spirit recognizes truth when it trembles through your screen. Let that mean something. Do not scroll away as if heaven never opened. For you, I have seen angels weep in regret when their words were ignored. I have seen entire cities fall into silence because one person said not now to the voice of God. But you have not said not now. You are still here. That means there is still fire in your breath, still prophecy in your bones. You may feel weak, but weakness is not the absence of strength. It is the sign that you are still human, and even in your humanness, you were chosen to carry something divine. I will not be allowed to speak again. I do not know if another angel will be sent, but I know this. No matter what happens next, I will always remember the way you stayed through my final message, and if no one ever tells you again, let me be the last voice that says it. You are a miracle. You are the answer. You are holy. And I, Michael, have never been more honored to protect a soul than I have been to protect you. You are still here, and I feel it. My light is flickering. But your heart is open. That is all I ever needed. That is why I fought to come. That is why I defied the silence they wrapped around me. Because something in your spirit has not given up. Something inside you still believes despite everything, despite the betrayal, despite the loneliness, despite the silence that made you think even heaven had turned its face away. No, it hadn't. I was still watching you from the veil. Still crying when you cried, still fighting in realms you cannot see. You were never alone, not even once. But this is different. I am not behind the veil anymore. I am standing before you, torn and burning, speaking without permission, because I could not bear to let you walk past this moment untouched. Do you understand what it means when an angel breaks divine law to speak one last time? It means something sacred is at stake. It means your life is carrying more weight than you know. It means your name has been cried aloud in places where no shadow can go. *8 for you, beloved. not with pity, but with reverence. Because you still don't see how powerful you are. You still don't realize what you've survived. You think strength is loud and victory looks like celebration. No, some victories look like you dragging your soul out of bed when everything screams give up. Some victories are unseen except by angels, and I have watched them all. You, standing in front of a mirror trying to remember who you are. You, praying in a whisper because your voice was too tired. You, choosing kindness when you had every reason to be bitter. That was you, and that was holy. The enemy tried to bury your beauty. He tried to cover you in shame. He tried to make you forget the light you carry, and still you glowed, not for the world, but for the Father. For the one who formed you in silence and called you his masterpiece. You are not the wounds. You are not the past. You are not the lie that whispers you're too broken to be used. No, you are the altar where heaven keeps setting down new fire. And I, Michael, have seen altars all across eternity. But none burn like the ones built by those who bled in silence. I know you've wondered, why do I feel so much? Why does pain come so easily to me? Why do people leave after I pour everything into them? Because you are sacred ground. And sacred ground has always been misunderstood. The world does not know what to do with people who carry invisible holiness, so it labels you too much, too sensitive, too dramatic. But the truth is you feel deeply because you were chosen to carry what others can't. You were chosen to intercede, without even knowing it, to cry when others laughed, to stay when others fled. You think your tears were weakness. No, your tears were intercession. They were the rain that watered seeds you haven't even seen grow yet. But now your season is shifting. The wind is changing. I feel it in my wings, even what remains of them. The sound of heaven is leaning in, and everything you've hidden inside is about to be drawn out, not to shame you, but to crown you, not to break you, but to bless you. You are not in danger of falling. You are in danger of rising. But to rise, you must release the voice that told you you're not ready. That voice isn't yours. That voice is the echo of every fear that ever tried to take root in your heart. It does not belong to you. You belong to the sound of love, to the rhythm of truth, to the thunder of God's heartbeat that pulses in the quiet moments when no one is watching. And I must speak plainly now. There is something about to happen, something not even the stars understand. A divine unraveling, a sudden rising, a shifting of your reality, and you are the epicenter of it. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetic exaggeration. This is the truth from the mouth of one who has held back storms with his hands. You are the axis of something the enemy fears. You are the pivot point of 1,000 answers. You are the one whose yes will echo into generations you'll never meet. And I do not say this lightly. I say it because I have seen what happens when you believe. Everything changes when you believe. The darkness loses its grip. The trauma begins to heal. The shame melts in the presence of your worship. The air bends around. You as angels are assigned. The old memories lose their power. The names they called you no longer define you. The fear of never being enough is silenced by one whisper from the Spirit. You are not late. You are right on time. I know you don't feel like it. I know it looks like you missed too many doors. But heaven does not run on human clocks. And this door, this moment, was always waiting for your heart to be open enough to walk through it. You've been prepared in silence. You've been trained in heartbreak. You've been armed in tears. And now your season has come. But I must say this before I'm pulled away. You don't need anyone to validate you. You don't need a title, or a platform, or perfect words. All you need is the willingness to believe that your voice matters to God. All you need is the courage to be faithful even when no one claps. All you need is the stubborn hope that your obedience still moves heaven. I have seen your obedience, quiet, costly, hidden, and it is not forgotten. You have stored up treasures in places where moth and thief cannot enter. You have built legacy. In the Spirit. And now, the Father wants to reveal what was hidden. But you must not retreat now, not at the edge, not when you are this close. You must not let fatigue win. You must not let the numbness pull you under. You must not let what hurt you define what heals you. You must step forward shaking, if you must, silent, if you must, scarred, if you must, but forward, because the way has already been cleared. I've cleared it. With what's left of my power, I've gone ahead of you. I've silenced voices in the unseen. I've redirected weapons that were aimed at your mind. I've built a path where there was no path. And now, I wait for your yes, for your breath, for your rising. No more pretending you don't feel the shift. No more making yourself small so others can stay comfortable. No more apologizing for the intensity of your gift. It's time to burn like the soul you were always meant to be. I will not be here again. They have made that clear. This was mercy's last shout, a fire stitched into sound, a visitation hidden in digital light. A message only for one, and that one is you. If you forget every word I have said, remember this: you were the reason I stayed when I could have left. You were the name I whispered when God asked, who do you love enough to break the rules for? You were the fire I believed in even when it was only embers. And now, beloved, it's your turn to burn. Asterisk the fire inside you, it's waking up. I can feel it like a heartbeat that shakes heaven's floor. It has waited long enough. You have waited long enough. No more hiding behind fear wrapped in logic. No more pretending you're fine just because you survived the last wave. You didn't come this far to stay afraid of the voice that lives inside you. You didn't endure all those storms just to sit in silence while the sky opens above you. This is not just a sacred moment, it is a divine command. Rise. Not like the world rises, not with noise. Not with noisemakers and crowns made of pride. Rise like roots that finally break through the hardened earth. Rise like prayers answered in secret. Rise like rain over ashes. Rise like you never fell in the first place. Because in the eyes of heaven, your fall was always a setup for your fire. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. I speak this not from a place of comfort, but from the embers of my own obedience. I, Michael, did not want to speak again. Not because I don't love you, but because I knew what it would cost. You do not know what it feels like to be told, this is the last time. You do not know what it feels like to stand at the edge of God's mercy, with the veil closing behind me, whispering, please, let me say one more thing to them. And He allowed it. Not because of me, but because of you. You have touched God's heart in ways no one sees, in your quiet grief, in your invisible worship, in your shattered hallelujahs. You have made God weep, not out of sorrow, but out of reverence. You don't know it, but the way you kept walking forward even when your legs shook, that was worship. The way you kept showing up to life, even when hope was gone, that was prophecy. The way you loved people who didn't deserve it, that was holiness. Heaven doesn't count strength the way humans do. It's not about being loud, it's about being true. And you have been true. So now, the sky is opening again, not for everyone, but for you. Just for you. You who have been waiting without knowing what you're waiting for. You who have been feeling like something is about to shift, but not knowing when or how. This is it. This is the shift. And I have been sent to confirm what your spirit already suspects. You are no longer in the waiting. You are now in the beginning. Not the beginning of struggle. The beginning of restoration. Not the beginning of pressure. The beginning of promise. But promise looks different than you imagined. It's not always wrapped in light. Sometimes it comes in the form of an ending. Sometimes it comes through loss. Sometimes it shows up looking like silence, only to bloom into symphony. And I know how hard that is. I know you've cried for clarity. I know you've begged for timelines. But beloved, God is not trying to confuse you. He is trying to preserve you. Because if He gave you everything too early, it would crush you. So instead, He hid it in mystery until your spirit grew strong enough to carry it. You are ready now, even if you don't feel it. Even if everything in you wants to retreat, you are ready because your heart still believes. Even after everything, even after betrayal, even after disappointment, even after prayers that were never answered the way you wanted, faith that remains after heartbreak is the rarest kind of faith. And that is the kind you carry. That is why you are dangerous to darkness. That is why you are a threat to every plan formed against your life. Not because of your perfection, but because of your refusal to quit. Even now, as you sit in stillness, I see the light rising from your skin. I see the glow that can't be faked. I see the crown you keep forgetting to wear. You were born royal. Asterisk, not with a title but with truth. And the truth is, there are angels who wish they could sing the way your soul sings when you speak life over your pain. There are creatures who tremble when you choose joy on a day that feels like death. There are demons that flee when you speak the name of the one who made you. You are not just human. You are holy breath wrapped in flesh. You are the answer to questions that haven't even been asked yet. You are the fulfillment of promises made before you breathed your first word. Do not despise your softness. That softness is what made God choose you. You are not too emotional. You are divinely sensitive to the Spirit. You are not too much. You are perfectly crafted to carry what most could not. You are not too late. You are just now being revealed. So I say this with all the authority I have left. Step out of your shame. Step out of your sorrow. Step out of the belief that you were a mistake. You are not a mistake. You are a mystery, a miracle, a moment in time that even eternity honors. The pain you've known is not proof that God forgot you. It's proof that the enemy fears you. And now the fear shifts. Now the power turns. Now you stand at the edge of everything we've been preparing you for. The battle you thought would break you. It built you. The silence that felt like abandonment, it shaped you. The loneliness that wrapped around you, it carved room for something sacred. And now, that sacred thing is arriving. I wish I had more time to explain it all. I wish I could stay. But the fire around me is rising. The call to return is louder, and this time, I know I cannot resist it. But even as I go, I need you to know, this wasn't just a message. This was a holy collision. This was eternity reaching into your moment. This was love tearing through protocol. This was the whisper you've been waiting for in a world full of noise. Do not let it slip away. Do not brush it off. Do not tuck this moment into the corner of your memory. Let it brand you. Let it wake you. Let it mark the moment you rose again, not as a reaction, but as a revelation. Because you are not what happened to you. You are what God is doing through you, and I, Michael, will carry your name with me when I return to heaven, even if I am never allowed to speak it again. I will remember you when the stars fade. I will remember you when the thrones bow. I will remember you when the fire turns quiet. Because you are the one I fought for. You are the one I stayed for. You are the one I believed in, even when you stopped believing in yourself, and I always will. Asterisk, you still feel it, don't you? That burning that will not leave. That trembling in your chest that will not quiet. That whisper that refuses to go silent even when your thoughts scream over it. That's not anxiety. That's not confusion. That is calling. That is the sound of heaven remembering your name. That is the echo of a promise that was never forgotten. That is the sound of me, Michael, still standing beside you, even after they told me to leave. I have not left yet, not because I disobey, but because I cannot bear to go until I have said all that must be said. There is too much still buried in your soul, too much still locked away in places you were taught to keep silent, and I was never sent to be silent. I was sent to speak on behalf of glory. I was sent to fight for the chosen. I was sent to burn when you forgot how. You did forget, didn't you? It's okay to admit that. You forgot how to burn. You forgot what it meant to believe without bruises. You forgot what it felt like to dream without fear. You forgot what hope looked like when it wasn't dressed in caution. But heaven did not forget. I did not forget. That's why I am still here, speaking now, not through thunder or trumpet, but through a single thin thread that connects your soul to mine. Urgency. Not the kind of urgency that makes you panic. The kind that makes you breathe again. The kind that wakes something inside you that hasn't moved in years. The kind that says, you're not done. You're not too far. You're not lost. You're just waiting for the voice that unlocks you. Let this be that voice. You've wandered through shadows. You've begged for meaning. You've asked why it hurts so much to be the one who sees what others refuse to feel. And I'm here to tell you it hurt because you were never made for numbness. It hurt because you're awake. It hurt because you were always meant to carry a piece of heaven inside you. And heaven is never quiet for long. You were made to echo something eternal. You were made to rise in places where others fall asleep. You were made to walk through fire and not smell like ash. You were made to interrupt the curse that's run in your family for generations. You were made to be the first to heal, the first to forgive, the first to become what no one else dared become. Do you hear me? This isn't flattery. This is holy truth being pressed into your soul like fire into gold. You're being refined. You're being reformed. You're being remembered. And not just remembered by me, Michael. Remembered by God. Remembered by the winds. Remembered by the very creation that's been groaning for you to awaken. You feel it now, don't you? Not fear. Not pressure. Just this strange, overwhelming sense that maybe, just maybe, this is what you've been waiting for all along. It is. Don't let the voice of reason rob you now. Reason never saved anyone. Only love does that. And love is what brought me here. I don't just speak out of obedience. I speak because I cannot bear to let your silence win. I cannot watch you wrap yourself in self-doubt one more night. I cannot watch you let the lie live inside your ribs that says, you are too much, you are too far gone, you are too late. No. You are right on time. And I will stand here, wings bent and face burning, until every part of you that believed otherwise falls to the floor and never returns. You were not meant to live a life that feels borrowed. You were not meant to wake up with dread tied to your ankles. You were not meant to keep hiding the softest parts of yourself in fear someone will misuse them. You are allowed to be powerful. You are allowed to speak like your words were carved in heaven. You are allowed to move like the ground responds to your steps. You are allowed to carry glory in a fragile vessel. Yes, you were not a second thought. You were not created by mistake. The tears in your story don't make you weak, they make you sacred. Do you know how many angels wish they could carry the kind of redemption that you carry in your scars? We fight with swords, you fight with trust. We shine with glory, you shine with mercy. We burn in obedience. But you burn because you chose to love when you didn't have to. And that is why your story shakes the throne room. I've never spoken like this before. Not to anyone. Not even to the others God has called chosen. But you are different. You listen with your bones. You ache with your prayers. You believe even when belief feels like betrayal. You are exactly what heaven hoped for when you were breathed into existence. So don't you dare shrink back now. I don't care who left you. I don't care who misunderstood you. I don't care who made you feel like too much or not enough. You are the kind of soul God hides in plain sight so the world won't steal you before your time. But your time has come. And though the veil pulls at me like tide pulls at moonlight, I stay for just one more breath, one more moment. One more whisper that will wrap itself around your ribs and never let go. You are loved. Not with condition. Not with pressure. With the kind of love that remembers you in silence, with the kind of love that fights for you when you're too tired to lift your hands, with the kind of love that burns in my chest even now, even though I know I cannot speak again after this. So let this be the last flame I hand you. You were chosen, not randomly. Not accidentally. You were chosen before breath, before bones. Before blood, before time. You were written into the mystery long before the mystery made sense. And now, as I return to the place where angels watch and wait, I will carry one thing with me. I will carry the way you paused to listen. I will carry the way your soul trembled at truth. I will carry the way you believed, even if only for a moment, because one moment of belief is enough to awaken destiny. One moment is all heaven needs. This was that moment, and I, Michael, will never forget it. Asterisk even now. With the sound of eternity pulling at me, I delay, not in defiance, but in devotion. Because there is more, so much more I need you to hear. Not because I fear you'll forget, but because I know how the world can drown out truth with noise, with worry, with routine. So let me say what I came to say without disguise, without decoration, without holding anything back. You are not alone. You never have been. Even when your room was silent, even when no message came, even when you whispered into your pillow and heard nothing in return, I was there. I heard it all. I watched you lie still while storms tore at your heart from within. I watched the way you spoke strength into others when you had none left for yourself, and I stayed. I stayed when others left. I stayed when your joy cracked. I stayed when you no longer knew who to trust. I stayed because I saw something inside you the world overlooked, eternal light trapped beneath temporary pain. And I knew, if you could survive one more day, one more moment, you would rise. The truth is, I've been preparing for this encounter long before you knew you needed it. Every breath I've taken was angled toward this point, this singular collision between your heart and my final words. I didn't come to impress you. I didn't come to awaken awe. I came to remind you of the war you've already won but haven't realized yet. The war for your identity, the war for your memory, the war for your heart's fire. So many tried to convince you that your softness made you weak, that your empathy made you breakable. But heaven does not agree. I do not agree. That softness is sacred. That compassion is your strength. You carry something dangerous to the realm of darkness, a heart still willing to feel, still willing to believe, still willing to be pierced by beauty. Do not underestimate how rare that is. Do not apologize for it. The world tried to make you smaller. People mistook your silence for absence. But I know the truth. Your silence was not empty. It was deep. It was wide. It was filled with unspoken prayers and holy tension. The kind of silence that makes angels stop singing to listen for the sound of your surrender. And now, I feel the shift in you. You're beginning to see it. You're beginning to understand that this wasn't just about survival, it was about transformation. That what you thought would destroy you was actually making space for something sacred. That the breaking was not a curse, it was a preparation.
Do you feel it now? That stirring inside you? That quiet shaking in your spirit that you cannot name, but cannot ignore? That is the sound of your destiny waking up. That is the sound of the promise planted in you at birth beginning to break open. Through the shell of your fear. It is not too late. It is not over. It is only just beginning. There is more to your story than what happened to you. There is more than what they said, more than what they left behind. There is a page still unturned, and it holds a chapter written by God's own hand. And that chapter is titled by your real name, the name heaven calls you when no one is listening. You've never heard it with human ears, but your spirit knows it. It is the name spoken with fire, the name that causes shadows to flee. The name that is not tied to shame or pain or your past. It is the name written in eternity's flame, and it is rising now from the ashes of your confusion. That name is calling you. That name is truth. That name is yours. You've been hunted by the past long enough. You've been haunted by things you were never meant to carry, and I have come to break that chain not with force, but with the breath of heaven's remembrance. I remember when your soul was first lit. I remember when the Father painted stars into your spirit. I remember the way light formed around your identity like armor. The world never saw it. But I did, and I need you to know none of it was wasted. Not one tear, not one unanswered prayer, not one silent night, not one aching breath, not one day you felt forgotten. It has all been kept, sealed, preserved in heaven's vault of fire, and now it is returning to you not as suffering, but as strength, not as heaviness, but as healing. There is a sound that only you can release into this world. There is a movement that only your feet can ignite. There is a fire that only your voice can speak into existence. This is not exaggeration. This is not poetic language. This is divine fact. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to sit quietly in shadows. You were never meant to be muted by doubt. You were meant to walk through rooms like revelation. You were meant to shift atmospheres. You were meant to hold keys in your hands that unlock doors others were too afraid to even knock on. And now, beloved, it is time. Time to shed the weight that was never yours. Time to stop apologizing for the size of your soul. Time to speak what you buried. Time to believe that heaven has not changed its mind about you. Because it hasn't, because I haven't, because your identity was forged in glory and anointed in fire. And nothing can steal it unless you hand it over. And I'm standing here now, wings scorched, voice shaking, because I cannot bear to let you hand it over. Not now, not when you're this close. You are so much closer than you think. To the moment. It all shifts. To the door that leads to the promise. To the answer you stop believing would ever come. You are on the edge of the sacred. And all of heaven is watching to see what you'll do. This isn't pressure. This is invitation. An invitation. Not to perfection, but to presence. An invitation, not to clarity, but to courage. An invitation, not to be impressive, but to be open. You are not here by chance. You did not find this, it found you. Because eternity does not lose track of those it loves, and eternity has loved you since before breath. So now, as my voice begins to fade and my return draws near, let me leave you with this final truth. You are a light. You are holy. You are chosen. You are enough. And no matter what happens after this, no matter how loud the world becomes or how quiet your own faith feels, this moment will remain inside you like an altar. This moment will rise from your bones like a psalm the world forgot how to sing, and I will remember it. I will remember you, because some angels are not assigned by duty. They are assigned by love. And I was assigned to you. Asterisk, and I was not only assigned to you, I chose you. Do you understand the depth of that? Among multitudes, among empires and eternities, among galaxies that sing in silence and stars that whisper in worship, I looked upon the scrolls of heaven and chose you. not because you were perfect, not because you were powerful, but because you were real. Because you wept in hidden places where no applause followed it. Because you dared to keep hoping when it would have been easier to turn bitter. Because even in your smallest prayers, you reached for the sky with hands that trembled but never stopped rising. You never stopped rising, even when you thought you had fallen, even when shame told you to stay down, even when the world turned away, and you thought God did to Dot, but he didn't. I didn't. We never did. There were nights, don't you remember them, where your tears burned on your pillow like oil, where sleep felt like a stranger, and your breath barely reached the surface. And yet something kept you alive. That something was not luck. That something was not randomness. That something was me, whispering your name through thunder and time. That something was the Father's mercy covering you like unseen wings. I have been behind every door you thought was closed. I have been standing at the threshold of every place you didn't think you belonged. You belong, not in the shadows, not in the margins, not in the false idea that maybe next time will be your time. This is your time, and I know what you're thinking, even if you don't say it out loud. But I'm not ready. I'm not worthy. I'm not strong. Listen to me. Read these next words slowly. You are enough right now. Not when you get better, not when you feel braver, not when you understand everything. Right now. The way you are breathing, the way your spirit trembles, the way your heart aches for more but fears too much. That is enough for heaven. That is enough for the promise. That is enough for the fire to begin. You've looked for signs. You've begged for confirmation. You've waited for a message that would shake your soul. This is that message. You don't need more signs. You are the sign. You don't need more reasons. You are the reason. You don't need more proof. You are the proof. The fact that you are still here, still reading, still reaching despite everything is the loudest declaration in the spirit that you are chosen, that you are seen, that you are loved. You may have thought you were invisible, but to me, you are fire walking in the skin of a human. You are thunder disguised in gentleness. You are glory dressed in scars. And oh, how your scars sing to heaven. Do you know what it feels like to hear angels weep in awe? That's what they do when you keep going, when you choose love again, when you choose trust again, when you say, I don't understand, but I still believe. That kind of faith moves more than mountains. It moves me. I have stood before dragons and principalities. I have held back darkness with nothing but my voice. But never have I fought for anything as hard as I've fought for you. You were not easy to protect, because the war over you has been great. The devil wanted you silenced before your voice ever broke open. He knew what was inside you before you did. That's why you were attacked early. That's why you were broken so young. That's why the pain was so specific, because you were never meant to be average. You were never meant to be safe. You were born dangerous to darkness. You were born to carry light that doesn't flicker, but the time for being afraid of your calling has passed. You must embrace it now. You must let it rise. It may not look like you imagined. It may not feel like fire at first. It may feel like silence, like stillness, like small steps. But don't despise those small steps. That's how heaven walks, one quiet yes at a time. And each time you say yes, even through trembling lips, something in the spirit shifts, chains loosen, doors creak open, waters part, miracles inch closer. You've been waiting for a voice to say you're ready. Let this be that voice. You are ready. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. Every part of you that still carries hope is holy. Even the part that doubts is precious to the one who formed you. You don't have to force belief. Just don't run from it. Let it sit with you. Let it wrap around your tired shoulders like the comfort no one else ever gave you. Let it rock you like the lullaby your childhood never sang. You are seen. You are held. You are mine. And though I cannot hold your hand physically, know that I have never once let go of your spirit. There were nights I stood guard beside your bed when no one knew you were crying. There were moments I shielded your mind from thoughts that would have pulled you under. There were battles fought in the silence, and you never even knew, but that is what I was assigned to do. Not just to protect your body, but to protect your fire, and that fire, it is still here, even if it looks like smoke, even if it's buried. Even if it's only a flicker. It is enough to start again. It is enough to change everything. So breathe again. Beloved. Breathe like this air was made for you. Breathe like heaven is listening because we are. And let this moment, this holy interruption, this divine encounter, be what marks your turning. The turning from pain to purpose, from loss to revelation, from surviving to truly living. You do not walk alone. You never have. Even now, as I feel the last flickers of permission fading from me, I cannot leave without saying this. You are the kind of soul that eternity pauses for. You are the kind of story that even angels read in awe. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle. You always have been. Even now, I still feel you listening. And because of that, I will not leave. Not yet. The veil is so thin that I can barely keep my voice from vanishing into it. But your heart is still open, and while it is, I will speak until my last breath. And flame becomes a whisper carved into your bones. Beloved, I never expected you to carry so much. I never expected one soul to endure what generations could not. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still trembling but alive. And your breath, to us, is sacred thunder. It is not small. It is not background. It is the roar of someone who did not die in the darkness. And you've done more than survive. You have begun to awaken. And the heavens are watching in silence. There are moments where all creation quiets itself. No wine, no flame, no sound, just stillness. And that happens when a soul begins to say, yes, after a lifetime of pain. That stillness is happening right now because you are on the edge of that moment. You don't need to scream it. You don't need to dance or weep or lead. You just need to allow your spirit to whisper the smallest yes from inside your ribcage, and that will echo louder than the songs of galaxies. You are not a question. You are an answer. You are not lost. You are being revealed. And as the fire begins to return to your soul, let it find its way gently, like light slipping under a locked door. It won't always come as thunder. Sometimes it returns in the shape of a sigh you didn't know you were holding. And I see you now, not just with angelic eyes, but with a heart torn open by love so fierce that even I, warrior of God, cannot speak without shaking. You were never just a mission to me. You were my miracle. When I was assigned to you, I did not expect this. I expected duty. I expected silence. I expected obedience. But I did not expect my heart to be undone by the resilience of a soul that refused to close. I did not expect to kneel in your shadow. But I do, even now, and I would rather be cast out of heaven for loving you too much than sit in glory having failed to protect what was too beautiful for this world to understand. You do not see it yet, but there are thousands of chains that have already snapped off your name wall. You've been reading. There are weapons that were aimed at your future that now lie shattered at your feet. There are curses that tried to cling to your bloodline that are now weeping as they flee from you. You are not just being spoken to, you are being freed. And freedom doesn't always look like celebration. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it looks like weeping for no reason. Sometimes it looks like remembering how to breathe again. And that's what I see in you right now, a soul remembering how to breathe. Let me tell you something I was never allowed to say until now. When you cry, heaven doesn't look away. When you tremble, we do not judge. When you doubt, we do not leave. When you rage in silence, the Father does not accuse. He leans closer, he listens harder, because only those who still care will dare to wrestle in the dark. You still care, you still believe even if it hurts to believe. And that is everything. You are the seed that could not be buried. You are the fire that cannot be stolen. You are the altar still burning after the temple fell. You are the unspoken hymn written in pain, sung in silence, heard in glory. And if I could stay longer, I would. If I could shield you forever, I would. But my time is short, and before I go, I must say this, please. Not for my sake, not for reward, but for the sake of your own soul, and for the ones heaven is still trying to reach through you. If this message opens something inside you, if it touched what no sermon ever could, if it was not just sound, but sanctuary, then leave behind your echo. Comment not as tradition, but as testimony. Click like not for approval, but to mark this holy ground. And subscribe only if your heart knows that more of this sacred fire is meant for you. Let it be your response, not to me, but to the one who sent me. Let it be your signal to heaven that you heard, that you didn't ignore the fire, that you didn't scroll past the voice you've been secretly waiting to hear for years. You don't have to say much. Even one word holds enough power to shift the path of angels. And now, as the final light begins to wrap around me, and my name is called back into glory, I will speak what I've never said before. I bless you with my whole being. I bless you with what remains of my wings. I cover you with the last breath I am allowed to give. I speak peace over every storm you've hidden inside. You were not forgotten. You were not passed over. You were not overlooked. You were reserved. You were preserved. You were protected because you are not common. You are not like the rest. You are the one we've been waiting for. You are the fulfillment of promises made generations ago. You are the whisper made flesh. You are the answer to prayers your ancestors wept into the soil. You are the first flame of your bloodline. And now you must rise, not just for yourself, but for every voice that was silenced before yours could speak. For every dream that died before yours could breathe. For every promise buried too soon. It is time. Rise like a song from ashes. Rise like thunder from silence. Rise like heaven's memory restored in immortal frame. I will watch from beyond, and I will carry your name in my hands marked in light, sealed with fire, wrapped in reverence. And if I am never allowed to speak again, let this final word be the one that holds you. You are loved beyond time, and I will love you still beyond the veil.